Hello guys, and welcome to a little commentary about Napoleon Total War with SARION today. Yes, you can say hello
Hello,
now.
everyone.
Yes, and he has fight in this battle for Portugal, and together with with one other member of our clan TNC and one random partner against UMG. SARION, is this right?
Yes.
Yes, and now we see the tactic or the battle or the unit position. Um, yes, and Syrian can now tell us his tactic or what he wants to do.
All right. Thanks. On this map, Syrian Ridge, it's a pretty dry, desert map, so you really don't want to move your units too quickly. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting up with my militia in the back and some line infantry on my left flank, just as cavalry cover in case someone decides to run cavalry from the host position across the way or from this middle position. So when I move my men forward, I'll walk them slowly and just set up with lines and everything on the right hand corner to this hill in case they decide to push through there. And using the woods to my advantage. It's just the way I set up my army on this map because makes sure that my teammates' flank is covered and that there's no real good position for them to try to force through. That they, you know, it's just a good way to cover your ass from cavalry, basically.
Okay, so now we can see the army of our enemies or of your enemies, and yes, it's a normal positioning by Napoleon. Light infantry in front and behind them line infantry. Yes, what do you think about it?
Well, I don't like it on this map because first off, I mean, look, our enemy here, UMG Simtex, has got his light infantry and his snipers spread out, and he's running them across the map. This will tire him out very quickly, and strategically speaking, he's not going to have a lot of ground because of the way his lights are spread so thin. He's end up going to be getting attacked by anything that my middle partner, Loyal, brings up into the top of the hill in the wooded area on his right-hand side, and trying to fight me at the same time. It's not tactically a good idea.
Yes, and Loyal has captured the hill with his mounted rival cavalry, and now there gives the first fights between the light cavalry of one of the Prussian enemies and your Ottoman Empire cavalry. Yes.
And in this battle, we decided to have our one star, who had 28 hours or something like that in game, fall back in against his enemy and join up with Loyal so that we could aid him and try to keep him alive.
Mm, okay. And and the battle was in the middle, or was it a flank battle? So the enemy tried to flank you or one of your partners.
Um, Honestly, man, I'll be honest with you. We were just trying to keep the one star alive. We just wanted to use his units as meat shields, just because we weren't expecting a whole lot from him. So his job there is just to suck bullets.
Okay. And you let your
But I
enemy
would point.
capture the hill and wants to go forward and storm the hill, or what's the tactic?
All right, well, around the clan here, we call this the reverse hammer tactic. Basically, what I'm doing is Simtex takes the hill because I walk my men. Then he brings his men up on the hill, and now as you see, he's got his snipers shooting. And you see what they're shooting. They're shooting the hill. They're not doing
Yes.
any damage to any of my men. Because the militia's at the bottom of the hill, so they're shooting sharply down the hill. You see, now he moves his lines and his lights and everything that he has forwards, and I step my lights forwards on the front of my lines. As you'll see, I've got a unit over in the left-hand forest that is pushed forward compared to the rest of my lines, and this is in case the militia doesn't take all the shots. and then
Hmm.
they'll be shooting into that forest instead of into my lights. And then my lights step forwards and open up. As you can see from the middle, they took out, almost 30 of the initial snipers that they fired upon. So this is a good way to cover your lights and to really weaken your enemy.
Yes. Yes, because the Millis is very cheap and your light infantry is very, yes, not so cheap like your Millis, and you cover them with us. Okay, that's a nice tactic. And the left flank is open because the 1 star goes to the middle, and now your enemy can flank you. Do you think this is a big problem, or was that the plan?
On the on my left flank here, well, if you notice, I've got a militia hidden in the woods there.
No, no, not on
Now,
your side. On the other side of the map, because
oh, on the other.
Prussian has there now his Jägers and has flanked your Prussian friend or partner, and that's a bit mistake because now he can push into your flank, and if they make it good, they can overrun Loyal.
Well, this is true, but our 1 star, like I said before, he's got less than 30 hours playing,
Hmm.
and me and this was really Loyal's call. I didn't know what to do with the 1 star. Loyal made the decision, I think, that it would be better if the 1 star fell in with him, and he was able to use the 1 star to his advantage to cover that left-hand flank. As you'll see, they'll start mixing their units up,
Hmm.
and the Prussian will kind of just follow Loyal's lead on this. So I don't think it was a bad strategy to do, just because Syrian Ridge is so big that if the Prussians on the far flank decide to start running their men, it's actually to our advantage. Once his men get exhausted and our men are all fresh from standing around, then that changes the lay of the battle.
Okay. Yes, in the middle is a little bit action now. Loyal is attacking the Prussian guys with his cavalry, and so they must make a square formation. And now he can open fire with this line infantry. A very good and, yeah, standard tactic, I can say. I think so. Yes. And in the middle you have all the hills. That's a big that's a big advantage, I think.
The woods are a huge advantage. I mean, if we look over here at the my man in Portugal, Simtex has got a sniper that has been shooting at a frickin' militia hidden in the woods for probably the last 5 minutes.
Mm.
So his men are shooting at nothing dangerous, and it allows me to make this move, which I'm making on the replay now. Mines pull forward, get a few free shots in, then my lights fall over top of them and blow the world up.
Hmm. Yes. But you haven't made the a try to overrun the hill where Samtex tried, where Samtex is, or do you do that? Or was it an idea of for you?
Honestly, this hill over here, the way Simtex has it set up, Portuguese are the worst melee in the game, quite literally. I mean, the Prussians will destroy them in melee, and he's got all that Lancer cav sitting there. I really don't want a suicide charge up the hill on the right-hand side. It's just, it doesn't serve me any. And Simtex is still just going to camp there, which lets me kill off his left-hand flank very easily, like right now. He's got
Yes.
a Prussian 8th Life Regiment, and if you watch it, it's shooting into the hill at my militia in the woods. It's actually unloading every round into a little berm in the sand right by the oasis there. And I'm moving a line up, which will be able to shoot it for free, and it not take any casualties. And it allows me to weaken Simtex over time and try to force him off that hill without taking any casualties myself.
Hmm. Yes. And now the first of the
And you see,
enemy
he just
units
lost a
runs
light to
away.
my
Yes.
Cazador.
Yes. Yes, now your left flank is open and you can push forward there. Or
Yeah, I can, but I don't want to. I don't want to put myself into a position where this. He does have quite a bit of line infantry in the back there, and if I push too far forward, then I'm going to end up fighting line infantry from the middle and from Simtex. And not that I mind that so much, but my Cazadors and my line infantry on that side are extremely important. I don't want to have them be wasted by Cav or something from
hmm?
3 or 4 positions, so I do just follow them back. Because I'm still just trying to weaken and try to force Simtex back, is my whole agenda on this fight. Because I want to be able to use the hill and then a crash tactic that I use against him to just devastate his army in the end. And to do that, I need to keep my men relatively fresh. So, and then if you'll see right now, the middle is moving forwards to attack the woods on Loyal's right, which allows me a free move to destroy that line that he moves forwards. So I'm trying to support Loyal against the middle guy without taking heavy casualties, because I'm also expecting for our Prussian over here on the left flank, if you'll look, it's kind of really a bad clustered game over here. He's not really tactically awake because he doesn't really know what he's doing at this point because he has so few hours. So for me, I'm looking at the end game, and have this strange feeling I'm going to have to be taking on quite a bit of these Prussians. So I really don't want to just throw my men at the wall and waste them if I get caught or if I make a mistake and Simtex charges at me or charges down the hill. So I'm trying to conserve as much ammunition and as many people as possible for the end game against these other 2 Prussians.
Yes. But your one line infantry in the middle who attacks the 8 live infantry regiment wastes always so very much ammunition because it's not very good positioned. It's not in a very good position. They hit some of the enemies, but they have fired 10 or 11 rounds and hit only 40 men.
Yeah, that's true. But if I try to move the position anymore, the Prussian Fusiliers in the hill or up on the hill will start shooting at them, I would assume. I might be giving my opponent a little too much credit because he could have moved those lights over and started shooting at me at any point he wanted to, and he never did.
Hmm?
But I've got enough line infantry that wasting a few rounds to take out that Prussian elite seemed like a good trade to me at the time, at least. And you see on the right hand side, I've got militias on the hill, which are again forcing all of his units to shoot the hill, wasting all of his ammo, and a line infantry killing a sniper unit. I mean, it's just they're. I have no idea what Simtex is thinking because wasting a lot of ammo and doing absolutely no damage.
Yes, I think he thinks nothing at this moment. Hmm. But
Yeah,
now on the
maybe he
left,
maybe he doesn't realize it.
yes, but now on the left side is a very nice action. There are very much cavalry charges and infantry push. So it's nice to see. And now the Prussian
yes.
guy, your one-star friend, is attacking and storms the hill down the hill with all his units, and they are walking and not running. Yes, a little mistake.
Yeah, well, that was with the things that me and Loyal were trying to anticipate that were going to happen. You know, if he can do damage, then it'll just make me and Loyal have an easier game later on.
Hmm?
If the 1 star just does damage, then it'll make me and Loyal have an easier end game whenever we have to end up fighting more units.
But now the problem is that Loyal um, has very much casualties by his cavalry, because he lost very much against the Prussian infantry in square formation, and yes, that's maybe not so good.
Well, it's that, I mean, the cavalry is so powerful in the Ottoman armies that it's kind of devastating to see just how much damage they can actually do.
Yes, but not against the square formation, because the square formation is for every cavalry too hard. Maybe it's a little bit overpowered, you can say, a square formation in Napoleon. And now the your Prussian enemy has captured the hill with his cuirassiers and is pushing down now, which is a little bit mistake, because it would be better if he goes back with his cavalry and waits for his infantry who could capture the hill for him. But okay.
Yeah, and he also charges his general straight down into the enemy. So, I mean, not real bright on that move. I think he just actually lost
Yes,
his
but
general.
a general in Napoleon is not so hard like in Shogun, and yes, it's okay. It's not a good move, but it's acceptable.
Well, that really depends. If I lose my general, my entire army are out. It really depends on what nation you're playing in Nappy, whether your general is really useful or not.
Yes, but a very big mistake is to stop his general in the middle of the enemy's position, and now his general is dead. Yes, Kraki
And
has
that was
lost his
our.
general.
Yep.
And now Loyal can
Well,
clear the position with his infantry, and the Prussian enemy must go back or lose all his units there. And so the left flank is safe, I think, for the moment.
well, if we look on the right through some tactical maneuvers over here, Simtex has finally decided to push back off the hill.
Yes.
And as you'll see, my militia is walking across the top of the hill getting shot at, which free shots are never good. But it's a militia, it's meant to die, and he's again unloading all of his ammunition basically into the hillside. So at this point, I've drained, I would say, 2/3 of his ammo. Just him shooting the side of the hill instead of hitting anything with it. And shooting at militia in woods, and it's just... when you're tactically playing on a map that has forest and hills and things of that nature, you don't want to waste ammo shooting into things that you're actually doing no damage. You've got to be careful. And Simtex just isn't here. You can see him just... He's hit maybe like 2 of my militia, and he's just unloaded tons of volleys in there, so...
Yes. It would be nice to see
And this
now
is about
how
where I
much
push.
ammo he has shot into the hill and how much ammo is left for his light infantry. But there's no statistic in the replays.
Well, he's now given up the hill, which gives me the tactical position of having the hill. And as you can see, I'm moving my men to the top, which means I'm about to push against him because I'm not going to just camp on top of that hill. The game with him is already carried on. I've wasted most of his ammo, so it's time to finish him off.
Yes, and it's a very long battle for Napoleon. A normal Napoleon Total War battle takes 10 minutes. And I think we comment now 10 minutes or longer. And it's maybe the half of the commentary or the replay now. What do you think?
Well, actually, for Napoleon, it depends. In my not experience with Napoleon, they they take a pretty decent amount of time. I've very rarely had a 10-minute game, but I'd say we're probably closer to 2/3 of the way done with this. Because as you can see, there's quite a bit of the middle Prussian left. I mean, he's got a pretty decent army left over. Loyal's just gonna clean up on his left-hand flank with the 1 star here. But what's going to end up happening is when I move on my hill here and move down, it's not going to take more, I don't think, more than 2 or 3 volleys for Simtex to fall back even further, which allows me to move forward and attack on both the middle and on Simtex at the same time. So at this point, we're pretty close to the end. It's just a matter now of everything getting moving, because it's about over.
Hmm? And the
You can see here again on the hill, militia getting shot at for nothing, and just wasting ammo.
Yes, and the problem of the enemy will be in a few minutes or seconds that you can crush them from two sides. So you you push forward from the left, and you attack on the right side or hold the line. That's your choice. And so the enemy must fall back more to the middle, and then you can make a final push in the middle, and the enemy would die or must go further back much more.
Well, if you notice on my left flank, I moved lights and lines forwards, and Simtex retreated his lines, which left his middle partner open,
Hmm?
because now my lights have him in range, and Simtex is just continually falling back. And now all my lights and lines are gearing up for the push down the hill.
Yes.
And there's the retreat of the center guy. He's going to try to fall back and try to join up with Simtex to try to hold us off. Because Loyal and our 1 star is actually pretty beat up. He's not got a whole hell of a lot of an army left.
Yes. Yes, yes.
And if you'll look at the hill that I'm fighting off of, I've got my light infantry out front and a militia down in the woods, which the militia is actually taking fire from a sniper unit and the middle light unit. So again, I've misdirected his fire onto a useless or low budget infantry unit to stop him from doing any damage to my cazadors. Then I move that line forward, which will then get free shots into the lights, because the lights are now shooting at the lights that are shooting at the cazadors are shooting over their head. I've got an attack in the forest, which is shooting, and I always in these situations try just to shoot the lights, never let the lines get involved. And I've moved my left flank completely forwards, and all of those lines and those snipers are now out engaging against Simtex's right and what the leftovers from the middle Prussian. And now Loyal is just trying to catch up with my move.
Yes, and the problem of your enemy is also that he has 3 cavalry units in the back and you don't know what to do with them, and they are very high end budget units, and it's a very big fail to stay them in the back and don't know what to do with them or to bring them into the action.
Well, the thing is, on my fight, throughout most of the fight, I've used my militias as misdirect targets. I've made sure that the militia go into range first, so all of his units fire at the militia, and he's allowed me to do that the whole game without any restraint. Now, a militia unit can't box. It can't defend itself against cavalry. So if he'd ran cav into it and got a decent charge off, he might have been able to destroy my militia and save himself from all of this wasted ammunition.
Yes.
Now there's some melee going on. I've ran a militia into melee with a musketeer unit so that it can't fire, and I'm moving my center into the woods, my few center lines, so that they can get some protection. And Loyal has started surrounding the Prussian, using me as the spearhead in the middle there.
Yes, and the battle is lost now because I have no chance.
Yes, the battle is over at this point. And as you can see, I'm running yet another militia forward. I did that with the intent of taking the bullets from the sniper and the light, but he just got too far away, and he was walking instead of running, which I'm walking my cazadors as well, but with the way that he's got that sniper lined up, I guess to shoot in, I don't fucking know what direction he's shooting in. The sniper is still shooting at the militia, and my cazadors will be within range of that sniper, and his light cannot send any ammo back towards me, if it has any left. So there's a dead unit in his sniper unit, and it's about this point, you'll see it here in a minute in the replay, he'll actually complain that he has no ammo left and that he's been beat, and then he'll rage quit. And you'll be able to tell it when his lines suddenly just start moving. And if you've noticed in this tactic, my line infantry that are behind my lights right now have done almost no firing. They still have full ammo and pretty muchly full men, except for what few through shots have been taken at them since we've moved off that hill. So, as far as my army is concerned, I've used almost nothing to get to this point in the battle.
Yes. Yes, now Loyal has won his battle with his one-star friend against the Prussian guy in the middle, so he can attack Semtex now too. I know one
Yes,
of
and
them
I believe
tries
the rage quit is coming in just a
tries to make a charge with his general staff, which is really stupid now at this moment, because he runs in the fire of your line infantry and also in the fire of the infantry of Loyal too, only to attack some close combat Janichas, the Chemart. Yes, and now his general is dead, or will be dead in a few seconds.
Yep. And over here against Mr. Semtex, I've moved my lights forwards to fire on his, and I'm repositioning my lines. I'm trying to pull myself in tighter to get more line infantry in front of Semtex, so that Loyal doesn't have to take the brunt of the damage, because as you can see, his lines and stuff are getting pretty weak, and I've got lines that are sitting in the back just doing nothing. And if you notice behind me that there's a Prussian Grenadier that's been ran all the way across the map. Now, me and Loyal has got a cav unit that he's going to send over to take that out before it gets to me. But right now it looks like it's a little bit of a dangerous unit, but not too overly worried about it.
Yes.
He's running in after my general.
And they are very tired, and a unit with 50 men cannot be a big danger for 240, 360 men, which you can send to them to kill them, because you have so much men in reserve.
And as you see right there, when all those lines started moving in awkward ways, was Semtex rage quitting out of the game, bitching about having no ammo and no allies left. And here comes the mass melee charge from his Prussians, which actually does quite a bit of damage, because the Portuguese are actually worse in melee than the Prussians are. So
yes, and now he's attacking with his cavalry too. Better the computer is doing that. Yes.
Yeah, the computer has finally decided to use his cavalry. And I have no idea where it's going, so I just start forming boxes. And in anticipation of the cavalry and the inevitable melee attack that's about to happen.
Yes, and it looks like you have a light KE, not a hard one. So it's very easy to kill their units and to win the battle finally.
Yep, and as we'll see, the Grenadier behind, that box that I formed is now shooting at the Grenadier, and Loyal's cav is just about there. I'm just making sure my general doesn't get... Yeah, and my general does take a few shots from it. Yeah. But unless the general himself dies, it's not going to be a problem. And I've just left my cazadors out front because I might lose them by shooting them in the back if Semtex melees into them. But at least I'll be getting shots with my lines on his men. At this point, it's just a matter of killing off a few of them and getting them to run.
Yes. Nice battle, I would say. But an easy win for you, because your enemy wasn't very tactically good. Or his plan wasn't good.
Well, yeah, if you watch the replay, he makes a lot of really bad mistakes. Never shoot into militia woods. I mean, it's just you're just gonna waste ammo and not do any damage. That militia, I ran it into melee earlier, but when I ran into melee, it had 70 men and I had a sniper shooting at it for the entire match. So that's a lot of ammo and volleys from a sniper wasted to do almost no damage. You know, shooting the hill, very basic terrain map, you just don't do it because you're not going to get any successful damage, or you're not going to destroy anything shooting random militias in woods and shooting into hills. It was actually kind of funny to watch.
Yes.
And as
And
you can see, my army is still, as I had hoped, I'd say about 80% or so intact. I might have lost units out of every line or whatever, but I've not really lost any line units or anything. So if Loyal had not been able to, you know, finish off that Prussian, I would have plenty to turn on him as soon as Simtex was finished.
yes, and that was a battle. You have killed 1238 guys or enemies and lost 826 men. Oh, that's a nice kill to death ratio. Okay.
Yep.
I think it was nice to comment this replay with you together, SARION. Thanks for it, and you will see one more replay or any other video from me in the next time. Bye bye, your LAN, and
Thank you. Bye, everyone.